This one is called A Lady in Waiting. Okay, this one's called A Lady in Waiting. There's a whole lot of women that in their 20s, college years, sometimes into their 30s. They find themselves in a situation where everybody else is getting a man, everybody else is getting married, but they don't have a man, they not getting married. Okay, and so a lot of women wonder why that is. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about that and deal with that today. Okay, so now check this out. If you know yourself, you can use common sense to determine, whether somebody's apply to you or not. But if you know that you're a fairly attractive woman, and you know that you stack up well against your peers and whatnot in terms of being attractive and whatnot, and even if you don't feel like that, even if you don't feel like you're maybe top-notch attractive or what have you. Not that that matters. I'm only saying this to deal with probability. If you're a fairly attractive woman and you look fairly decent, okay, and you know that there's nothing, necessarily wrong with you, okay, then one to two things will probably happen. Okay, one to two things will probably happen. You either overlook some of the options that you do have from men, or God is supernaturally keeping options from you. Okay, God is supernaturally keeping options from you. Okay, especially if you're a Christian young lady. Okay, because there are so many men. Okay, there are so many men that are looking for a woman during that particular stage in their lives. Early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, so on and so forth, even mid 30s. Okay, there's so many men looking for a woman. Okay, and if you're a decent woman, okay, there's a whole lot of men that would be willing to take you to be theirs. Okay, there's a whole lot of men. Okay, and so the probability is in your favor. Okay, the probability is in your favor. And notice I didn't talk about character traits, because there's a whole lot of men that will put up with horrible, terrible character traits from women because they want a woman. Okay, they'll put up with it. Christian men will put up with it. Decent guys will put up with it. They'll put up with it. Notice I left that out. Okay, because if you look fairly decent, a lot of men will take you, put up with it. Okay, so then check this out. This is one mistake a lot of women make. Okay, they have a fairy tale fantasy of what they want in their head, and if the man doesn't match that, then they say, "Oh, I don't want that man. He ain't good enough. He ain't good enough. He ain't good enough." And they are good enough. They just trying to match it up with a Disney fairy tale in their head. Okay, so that's something that really happens. That happens in the Christian church, so on and so forth. But then you get another situation where some women aren't doing that. Okay, and I've seen that before, where they're not doing that. They're willing to give guys a chance, and all the guys that they run into are not decent guys, or they don't have the right character. Okay, they don't have good character or decent character. Okay, check this out. In that situation, what might be going on, okay, depending on the area you live in, or depending on who's around you, or how many Christian guys there are, or decent guys there are, okay, God may be specifically trying to keep options away from you because he values you so much, okay, and that's really something that happens, okay, because he values you so much, okay. If I did a top 50 list of the most spiritual people that I met in my entire life, okay, if I did a top 50 list, I would say 30, maybe 35 of them would be women, okay, because the way women are, okay, when they do focus on righteousness, and they focus on purity, and they focus on being right, they have a situation where they had this intuition, and they had this relationship with God that's very deep and very precious, okay, it's very deep and very precious. And not a lot of men are able to equal that. Okay, not a lot of men are able to equal that. That's just facts. Okay, but the thing about it is, one of the easiest things for the devil to do to get you off your place in the Lord is to send you a man, okay? That's one of the easiest things for the devil to do to get you out of your place with God is to send you a man. I've seen that sucker all the time. I've seen it a lot, okay? It's something that really happens, okay? A woman has their idea of what they want in their head, right? They're looking for their Boaz. They're looking for their kinsman redeemer. They're looking for their Song of Solomon, right? They're looking for this type of person. And what they get, check this out, what they get is maybe a fairly decent man, okay? A fairly decent man, not even a bad guy, okay? Because the devil know you're not going to go for something like that. But check this out. It's a decent man, right? But it's leading you in a direction away from the spirituality and connection that you had with God in the first place. Because there's a lot of men that are good men, decent men, but they don't live by faith, okay? There's a lot of men that are decent financial providers, go to church, you know, live righteously, they don't cheat, they good fathers, they good husbands, they all of these things. But in terms of their connection with the Lord, it ain't even there. And if you do something for the Lord that's outside of normality, that they can see in their mind is logical, they're gonna come against it. And if you have a man like that partnered with you, okay, what's gonna happen is your relationship with the God, with the Lord, is going to be gradually sucked away from you, sucked out of you, okay? And then you're gonna put all your identity in being a wife, and you're gonna be so happy, you're gonna be so joyous, but in your heart of hearts, you know something missing, and you can't explain it to nobody, because it ain't gonna make sense to nobody. You try to force yourself to be happy even though you ain't happy. But you know that you lie awake at night and you think about God sometimes, and you know that you're distant from him, and you can't even explain it to nobody. You have your identity with the church people. All the church people are happy for you. Everybody on Facebook happy for you. Everybody on Instagram happy for you. All these people are so happy for you, but you lost the very thing that you were put on this earth to have, and that's a relationship with God. And one of the easiest things for you to lose that with is a particular type of man, okay? Because if you're in a relationship with a man and you're a Christian woman, then most likely you're going to submit to that man, follow that man, and do what he say, even above God, okay? Because sometimes if you follow the Lord's spirit and it ain't in line with what that man's saying, that ain't following the Lord, you're gonna feel like you in rebellion by following the spirit of the Lord. And then also because God is a God of order, okay? Corinthians 14:40, all things in decency and order. God ain't gonna speak to you maybe the way he used to. He ain't gonna tell you to get up and pray for these people the way he used to. Because God is a God of order, and he ain't gonna get you to disturb your house. So because you made that choice, now you're doomed, okay? And so even God have to back up from you because he's a God of order, because of who you marry and whose male authority you under, okay? So if you are in a situation where you feel like you don't have the options you should have, when you feel like you beautiful and you like, well, why don't nobody pick me? Why don't nobody choose me? I don't have this high standards. Count yourself blessed, because God is dealing with you and you precious to him. You precious to him, and God don't want you to lose that by you marrying the wrong man, okay? And when it's time, he'll send somebody that's suitable for you. He'll allow somebody that's suitable for you, but you gotta keep following him, and you gotta keep being content in the Lord, okay? You gotta be content in the Lord. You gotta build your contentment in the Lord, okay? Because just like Paul talks about, he wished that everybody could be like him, okay? He wished they could all be like him. See, a lot of people, when they talk about being single, having the gift of singleness, and Paul talking about that, they mostly look at men, okay? But that apply to women too, okay? That apply to women too. Some women had the gift of singleness. Or in some cases, it's better that some women stay single for a little while so they can focus on the Lord, okay? And so being that apply to women too, if you in that season, okay, bless God for it, because he see you as so special that he ain't ready to give you away yet, because he is your Father in heaven, okay? So that's my message on today. If you're a lady and a woman in waiting, don't lose heart, okay? And don't falter. Keep at it, and know that the Lord is with you. That's my message on today. You take care.